of 2025. We're going to go ahead and get racing here very, very shortly, as qualifying was yesterday. And now today we're going to get ready for 44 laps, 250 miles around the historic Temple of Speed here in Italy. We have 6 drivers taking to the track. Our 5 drivers that qualified yesterday, with the addition of one Nicholas Boita. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and get racing here in Monza, as everybody is just about to get ready to go. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and I'll be one of your hosts and commentators for today's Grand Prix. And alongside me today is the man who put this event all together, B23. How are you doing today, mate?
Doing very, very well. Got up early this morning for some more racing action, so I am already in that mode. And yeah, looking forward to see what these guys can do on the track today. It looks like they're getting ready to get right into the race too, so we're not going to have to do much waiting either. And I did a little practice race, as I was telling Rekus earlier, with these guys, May JP, ASJ, who I don't believe is racing today, and Tall Man. Illusion showed up too last second, so I did a little running in these, and it is going to be spicy.
Spicy indeed. These cars take no prisoners, and neither does the track. As we're waiting for those 5 red lights to come up, and we're about to get racing here in Monza for the GPL250, and it is lights out and away we go here in Monza. A good getaway there from Illusion and AJP. Keminger had a very rough start of things. Boita's up 2 positions, and we're going into the famous Prima Variante, and Illusion goes deep. May JP takes the lead.
Wow.
And Boita's up in the 3rd. May JP absolutely nailing that first corner on the track, as now we go ahead and make our way through Curva Grande, and now we're making our way to the Lesmos here. May JP setting the pace very early on.
Tall Man with an overtake attempt into the second chicane on Keminger. It looks like he gets it done there to get out of last place as well. And what a start from May JP. It looked like he had a good launch. Illusion just going a bit wide into turn 1, and now under pressure from Boita.
Indeed, yeah, these guys are really going to go ahead and fight. We know Boita, and now here's one of the biggest strengths about Boita, is we know that he is very strong when it comes to his tire management, which may be a factor here, as we do have a lot of drivers, actually I think the entire field, running on that soft tire compound. I mean, you pretty much need it in this car, because it is a very snappy car, a very twitchy car. And oh, we have a spin in the back. It's Keminger having a bit of a spin there early on. And let's go to get that on a replay. Oh, I think he just went deep through Ascari and then just kind of just lost it there.
Yeah, that's too bad, but that's exactly what we're expecting to see throughout this race, is a bunch of spinning, as we talked about all throughout the qualifying session yesterday.
Illusion.
These cars are hard, and Illusion back in the lead, and you expect, if these guys can keep it clean, that Illusion is the man with the advantage. But as we saw yesterday too, even he had a really hard time keeping it on the track and pointing in the right direction.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, in qualifying yesterday, we saw so many drivers just spin out. And I mean, this car is not an easy car to drive. It is very tricky. It's very snappy. Not a lot of downforce on these cars compared to the Super Formula anyway. It's just not as efficient with its downforce here. So you got a screaming V12 in the back of these things with a ridiculous amount of horsepower. I think it's around like 800 or 900 horsepower in these F3500s. But I mean, these things are wicked to drive, and I mean, I know we've both driven them to varying degrees, and I mean, these cars are just not easy to maintain in the slightest.
No, not at all. And another thing compared to the Super Formula is it feels like these cars have virtually no brakes at all. You have to time your braking points way earlier and with much more anticipation. And into turn 1 here is a great example of that, where it's a very hard braking zone after you reach your maximum speed, and it's just as much about knowing when to time letting off the brakes as it is when to get on them.
Indeed, especially on a track where there's several very hard braking zones. I mean, you got the infamous turn 1 chicane, the Prima Variante, And then you got the second variante going into the Lesmos. So you know good and well that it's going to be tricky with these cars. I mean, if you miss your braking point, kind of like Major P just did there, went a bit deep into the second variante. And now we got Boita looking to make a move, coming up the inside of the Lesmos. Major P having a bit of a better line though. It's hard to make a move going into the Lesmos. But now on this massive straight leading into Ascari, you will have a really good chance of making some good progress here. As Boita is now going to try to close in the gap.
And it was just a bit of a mistake from JP over the second part of that second chicane on the track, and it left the door wide open for Boita. But I was just about to praise JP's early pace here, because he is actually was sticking with Illusion and just about getting right in that slipstream again before he made that mistake, and staying ahead of Boita, who we know is an elite level driver through the many seasons we've seen him drive.
Boita, and one of Boita's biggest strength is just the relentless consistency that this man has. I mean, he's gentle on his tires. He is, I mean, he doesn't have the lightning pace, or the dominant pace that we've seen from Whiteout, Illusion, and Nuko over the last couple of seasons, but this man is wickedly consistent. And once again, one of his biggest strengths is that tire management. So if he joins back with Porsche next year in the Season 7, then, I mean, I think it's going to be a really, really spicy lineup with these guys. As we see JP now trying to go ahead and run away here. He's losing time to Boita. Actually gaining a little bit there, but it's really just going to be a race of attrition, just trying to survive and keep this car facing in the right direction is going to be so crucial here. And I mean, this is probably one of the best tracks for it, like we kind of discussed yesterday during the qualifying session there, B23, because I mean, this thing, even with max downforce, will absolutely bite you with no remorse.
Absolutely, and this is about as much downforce as you can get with these cars too, through corners like Curva Grande and Parabolica, but even still it's going to be hard. And I was telling these guys through the practice race, and going wide as JP as well, is just minimizing your mistakes, because it's a long race, and these cars, I'm surprised that even in just 5 laps they've stayed as clean as they have thus far. And making a little look as Boita, but staying behind for now. And so, yeah, it's going to be difficult. So as long as you can just keep the car pointing in the right direction for longer than your opponent, you're probably going to have a good position by the end of this thing.
100% B23, and I mean, I think it's going to be just that. It's going to come down to who can keep this car facing in the right direction, who can master the brakes on these cars, and Boita goes a bit wide there. Trying to shake for a move on to JP, whose defense is holding up strong. And indeed, it was a very brave move, but the British Prime Minister of Defense right now of JP is going to try to hold back Boita. But here's the thing, Boita taking a look, his tires are slightly better off than JP's up ahead. So, I mean, it's only marginal now, but in the scheme of the longer race, I mean, we're only on lap 5 out of 44. That tire could really kind of be the difference between winning and losing here, as Illusion is still checking out way up at the front. He has got about a near 5-second gap to P2, and he just at the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And then we're going to jump back here. Boita is still going to try to close in the gap. He's got the slipstream, he's got the speed, but will he have the move? It's difficult to make a move here into turn 1. JP was able to do it earlier, but Boita just too much real estate in between the cars to get that going for now. But the sun is starting to kind of set here a bit. It won't turn to fully night, but it will be, the track will be a bit cooler, and there is a very gentle breeze going in the northwest, only about 5.8 feet per second, which will catch drivers out on some corners, and I think it might have just caught out Boita. Been getting a bit of a tailwind. It's going to be mostly noticeable through the Lesmos, but I mean, it's not as strong as we've seen in some of the previous races. I think it was Spa in Season 6, where we were having winds of like near 30 to 40 feet per second.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, and I struggled massively in that race in particular. It was it was ridiculous. So a gentle breeze is very nice, especially for cars with the aero the way it is with these cars. You don't want too much of a wind to catch you out, because it's hard enough just trying to keep the mechanical grip under control with how instantaneous that power delivery is. And even as you mentioned, the slight drop in track temperature is going to affect it with a car as powerful as this, and especially as the tires begin to wear too, as everyone on the field too, by the way, is running the soft tire right now. And I don't have any idea what the strategy is going to look like, or if they're going to incorporate medium tires at all. But one thing I do know is that fuel is going to be a factor in the strategy as well, and that's just a whole nother factor these guys are going to have to be calculating in their head while they're deciding during the business stages of the race what to do.
Indeed, there's no specific
track limit for Illusion.
Yeah, there it is. And that's another thing too, is you can easily kind of get track limits coming through some of these parts of the track, especially like the Les modes is a really big one, because oh wait, I think we had a moment there. MayJP lost a position to Boito. Let's go ahead and check out what happened there. So we lost that position a little bit beforehand, so I think it might have just been an actual clean pass from Boita onto MayJP. So he got the move done, and now he is up into second. Boita, who didn't qualify yesterday, is now up into second position in this race. And now MayJP, who qualified second, is his best qualifying in any format in the Grand Prestige League. He is in third, but he's looking to be on track for his second podium here. Actually, second podium in a row as well, because he got a podium in the season finale of the LMP Masters Championship.
Yeah, MayJP's form is definitely on the rise, despite having lost a place right here, but he lost a place to one of the top drivers in the top tier of course, the top Super Formula League in Gran Turismo, so it's not anything to feel too bad about if you're MayJP, but yeah, MayJP is genuinely really strong in these cars.
He has been. I mean, he's been stronger than pretty much any car we've thrown him into. He actually, I think when High Caliber first got a look at him, he was racing in DRL, which was in their first season, which used this F3500 car. So MayJP is pretty familiar with these cars. He has competed in this specific machine before. And that was back when he was, I think, still a free agent. I don't think he was actually with High Caliber yet, but around midway through the LMP Masters series, he was confirmed to be racing for High Caliber Racing in Season 7, probably in the WEC. But speaking of MayJP, he gets a half-second penalty for track limits, and we have a battle back here between Tallman and Kemmerer. These guys are going to go at it. We're going to see how this one plays out. Tallman does have the inside line going into Ascari. Nicely done there from the LFO driver. And they're going to go ahead and continue to race on here, as Tallman is going to try to just start running away from Kemmerer, who's actually had a pretty strong recovery considering his spin in the opening laps of this GPL250. So good recovery for him, but we'll see if he can get past Tallman here.
Yeah, absolutely. And considering the consistency of Tallman too, I mean, looking at his lap times, they are all very, very similar. So he's done an extremely consistent job, and as we've been saying, that is one of the most important elements of racing in this car. And yet Kemmerer showing pretty strong pace, and we saw that in qualifying yesterday too, that he had some pretty surprising laps at times that caught us by surprise even. So Kemmerer doing a good job, having closed into just about half a second to Tallman here, and we are looking forward to a battle here. And as I was telling these guys too, these cars are very prone to sudden unexpected understeer or oversteer, and so battling into a corner is very risky and difficult, easy to catch yourself out and lose pace. And so you should try to target the overtake for the straight just after the exit, kind of let them go into the corner and just focus on having a really clean exit, and then you know, generate that momentum and overspeed out of there, and then overtake on the straight, where the slipstream is very strong in these cars as well.
Indeed, yeah, because they don't have as much downforce to kind of, oh, look at this move trying to be made here from Kemmerer. And now he is trying to close in the gap to Tallman up ahead. So these guys are going to absolutely just give it everything. The Hololive Racing driver trying to put a move on the Tallman.
Yeah,
he's going to try to shake.
Here, maybe.
Tallman trying to break the slipstream. There will be no move made going into turn 1. Then we'll go ahead and save it for now. But
so
I mean,
very crucially, Tallman had an excellent parabolica final corner there just before the straight to stretch his legs a little bit away from Kemmerer, and that was crucial to maintain that position before turn 1.
Indeed. I mean, it's very good as well, because parabolica is a very crucial corner on the track. If you mess up parabolica, you're likely going to mess up your lap, because you just carry so much speed coming through parabolica. Oh, and it's a bit of a wide moment there for Tallman, getting a bit too deep into the second Lesmo. That's going to be a drag race down to Ascari. Kemmerer does have the pace right now to get ahead, but Tallman's got the slipstream, and they're not going to try to fight it out in Ascari. They're going to wait for parabolica, and then that start-finish straight again. Tallman down into 6th. And we're going to see if he can go ahead and try to close in the gap to Kemmerer. He's going to go ahead and try to give it everything here. Tallman's going against a veteran driver in the series, and this will be Tallman's debut series coming up in Season 7. He did participate in a good part of the LMP Master Series. Got some pretty good results there. Best finish 5th. And now he's going to try to go ahead. He's actually been racing in a few other series as well. He is a part-time competitor in the HTM series, and also he was a part-time competitor who almost got a podium in the Hellas Racing NASCAR Championship. So Tallman's been dipping his toes into quite a few different racing series here, as a lot of these drivers do tend to do during the off-season. But I mean, the story of these LFO drivers is actually really interesting, and I mean, I think they're going to be pretty good additions to the league, whether they qualify for SWT or WEC. But I mean, there's a lot of teams coming. I mean, we have Racing Force joining in, Acura making a return, LFO going ahead and giving their hand a go at the Grand Prestige League, and then there's other teams as well who have considered entry, like 9 Pegasus Panthera, which is a really big German team. BNR has also been considering it. Nexus Racing. Artigace Esports was also rumored to join in at some point, but then that team became LFO. So, and actually they did get sponsored by Artigace for a single race, the charity event hosted by 9 Pegasus Panthera. But here we go, we actually have a pit stop here, the first pit stop of the race from one Nicholas Boita.
Oh, okay, well
he's on the mediums.
And he opts for the medium. Was the soft really? That's really interesting. That is super interesting, because that's a very early pit stop. It's not like his car was...
Oh, and he goes deep. He went deep into turn 1.
Oh boy. So not only is that, you know,
the
difference between the soft and the medium.
Lucian has spun around. Lucian's around.
Okay, well maybe that answers the question as to why Boita wanted to pit. He must have felt something in the tire. It doesn't look like the tire is super bad. And Illusion having a hard time recovering the car too. That's crucial too. Not only are you very likely to make a mistake throughout this race, but how quickly can you recover the pace? So he has front wing damage for now.
He spun around, so we're kind of watching a replay. It's a bit of a late replay, but that was actually shortly after Ascari that he spun. That's a weird spot to spin, but it just once again shows the unpredictability of these cars, that they will snap on a dime. And now Major P has clearly got that information. He's like, okay, well, I was almost 30 seconds away from Lucian, and now I'm within 10. So something must have happened here. So, and I think Boita actually did really good. I think he made actually a pretty good call. Switching to those mediums, because he theoretically could get to the end here.
At first I was scratching my head a little bit like, that seems really early. Maybe he's calculated a strategy I'm not just didn't think of ahead of time. But then Illusion shortly answers the question that, okay, well, that's why. Because even though it doesn't look super bad, of course, as we've been saying throughout, that these cars are hard to drive in optimal condition, and these cars are degrading quickly, and the fuel weight is coming down quickly as well, which means these cars are lighter, and the tires have less grip. And not only that, but they're less predictable when the grip is low like this. So you're not sure exactly when you ease onto the throttle what that new threshold is for how quickly you can put that pedal down before the tire will spin on you. And even just a tiny slip between a 1-to-1 rolling ratio on the ground for that tire can cause you to absolutely lose it, just like Illusion did. And we know how good he is, so it doesn't take too much.
Precisely, yeah. And I mean, actually, I used the word precisely, but precise is what you have to be in these cars, because anything less and the car will send you straight to the gravel, as we've seen earlier. And in the Discord earlier, which if you guys are interested and you want to join the next season, let us know in chat, and we'll go ahead and send you guys the Discord link so you guys can go ahead and get situated and maybe bring in a new team as well, or you can join one of the existing teams. We'll just have to see. But I mean, Tallman said earlier on today that he's expecting almost everybody to spin at least once. And so far, we've had a few spins here and there. We've had Kimminger and Illusion have a spin. So, I mean, it just shows you that even champions of the league will still have a really tough time in this car. Tallman is going to be under pressure now from Kimminger. Boyta's going to try to stick it around the outside. He's going to get close to the gravel coming into Lesmos. Is he going to make the move stick? They're going to go deep. Actually, they haven't quite entered the Lesmos yet. Now they're into the Lesmos. Boyta gets the move done in the second Variante. And now into the Lesmos they go. Can we see a move being done here? Now, here's something worth noting. Boyta is on brand new tires. They're not the grippiest tire, but they're definitely going to be better tires to be on compared to Tallman and Kimminger's right now. So, making the run to Ascari. We'll see if he can get the move done here. It's going to be tricky to get that move done because, I mean, you can't really make a move into Ascari. Maybe in a motorcycle you can, but not in these cars. And they're going to go to make the run into Parabolica. Now, this is Boyta's best opportunity to get a pass here. Is he going to get done? He's going to stick to the outside and try to fight it. The outside line is the better line here through Parabolica, and through goes Boyta.
Yeah, that was excellent moves, and it's crucial for his race. He needed to make these clean moves, but now Tallman in the slipstream, he could fight this back. And unfortunate for Boyta to have pit back and fight through traffic before these guys decide to pit, because that's going to cost him time in his race against Illusion.
Indeed, oh, Kimminger with a bit of a snap coming through Prima Variante. Those old soft tires getting to him now as Tallman's trying to chase down Boyta. But Boyta,
I bet these guys are thinking of pitting at this point now.
Yeah, Boyta's on the faster tire, so I mean, and he's probably one of the fastest drivers in the league, so he can just check out at this point. But still gonna leave Tallman and Kimminger to kind of duke it out here. This is actually a really fun battle to watch between these two, because I mean, you got another very solid figure in the GPL with Kimminger. His team racking up a handful of podiums last season. And now against one of the fresh new faces, one of at least 3 confirmed new drivers. And Tallman takes a curb and goes around and around. Tallman,
oh, and there it is,
spinning out. So that is driver number 3 to go ahead and have a spin here, and he's definitely gonna have to pit in now.
Absolutely, yeah. And he's drifting all throughout the exit of Ascari too. We'll see if he can keep it together through Parabolica, because looked like he got in the gravel too. That makes the tires dirty. Not only are they worn, but they lost temperature and the surface is dirty. We'll see if he goes into the pits now.
Yep.
And he does. He does indeed. A wise move, and I'm kind of surprised other people aren't doing it as well. But I think the reason that they're trying to stay out longer is also because of that fuel. Because you want to optimize your pit stop intervals so that ideally you get the absolute most out of your car as far as its optimal running, at least. And so you don't want to carry too much additional fuel on board if you can help it. So I think some of these guys are just trying to burn off as much fuel as possible before they take that pit stop, just to kind of optimize those pit stop intervals over the course of the whole race.
Exactly. I mean, pit stop optimization is everything. Getting the right pit call at the right time. Not pulling a McLaren in the recent Qatar Grand Prix that happened earlier on today. You got to get the right call at the right time. I know B23 wishes I probably didn't bring that up, but all things considered, yeah, I mean, strategy is going to be very important here. And now we're going to see probably the rest of the field pit in. Lucian's definitely going to pit in on the next lap. He's got critically low fuel. And that back left is just absolutely shredded, so we're definitely going to see probably 99% of this field pit back in, aside from Boita, Tallman, and maybe May JP might stay out, but I think it's probably just going to be Boita and Tallman, the drivers who recently pit. I think everybody else is coming in.
Yeah.
Here comes Chemisher.
I still believe Oscar Piastri can win, by the way. I still back him. But also, these guys are really... you know, wringing their cars completely dry before they go into the pits for the most part, most of the field here. And I mean, you look at the state of Illusion's car. When Chemisher came in, he had 5 liters of fuel remaining. That could barely pass an FIA sample check if he were to end the race in that condition.
Yeah, Illusion now coming into the pits. We'll see where he's at. He's at 2! So yeah, these drivers are like absolutely just... These guys are suffering dehydration at this rate. And if you guys want to avoid getting dehydrated, check out our sponsor, W.GG. Use promo code GPL to get yourself some very nice energy or hydration beverages. And use our promo code to get a nice 10% discount. And that way you can also support the league and help us do some really cool stuff. We have some really cool ideas, but we just need a little bit more support. And I mean, and that is saying something considering the amount of support you guys already show us here at the GPL. So if you guys are brand new, drop a like, go ahead and get subscribed, turn on post notifications. The regular season of Grand Prestige League season number 7, pre-qualifying, is starting very, very soon. It's only going to be at the beginning of January, which may sound like a while, but tomorrow's the first day of December, which, talk about how fast time flies here, B23.
Oh, I know, it's ridiculous. I remember hearing about the Spec 3 update for Gran Turismo, and now it's next week, but it seemed to me in my mind like it's still months away, like at least a month or so. But it's next week, and then the GPL Season 6 Super Formula, or Season 7 now, whatever season it's about to be, the Super Formula Series is going to return either way. And it will return very shortly after the Spec 3 update is introduced into the game. We're gonna, you know, see the new tracks and see what the changes are, and then be able to plan very accordingly. And we'll have a season planned for you guys very shortly after that. And so the plan is probably early January we should start seeing some on-track action, at least as far as some open qualifying to determine division splits.
Indeed, I even heard there's going to be a 3rd division. I'm kidding, no. We're still sticking with the 2 divisions as far as I am aware. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting because you got 3 new teams joining in. Well, 1 returning team and 2 new teams making the foray into Grand Prestige League, potentially more. At minimum, we have 3 new rookies joining in. We got May JP for High Caliber Racing, and then the aforementioned Tallman and ASJ joining in with LFO. And also, I've just heard I've heard rumors too that LFO might be considering fielding 2 teams. So they may have 2 different squads, one for WEC and the other for SWT. Once again, that's all rumors and speculations. We'll just have to see. We should be also confirming driver lineups too towards the end of December. So you'll see who is competing under which banner, and just before the pre-qualifying kicks off. So once again, if you guys have a team, you guys want to get involved, go ahead and let us know, and we'll give you guys a Discord link. It'd actually be super amazing if we could consistently fill the grids every single time. And we get pretty close here in the Super Formula season, but I mean, it would be a lot of fun to see 7 teams line up on the grid each and every week to go ahead and duke it out for race wins and victory.
Yeah, it would be great. May JP coming into the pits with 2% fuel. Ducky Dono earlier came in with 3% fuel. So these drivers showing their experience. I mean, May JP coming in as a rookie, but a very experienced driver nonetheless. And Ducky Dono, you know, the absolute veteran he is, one of the most experienced drivers on the grid, coming in with just 3% fuel, really understanding what his car could do as he goes a bit into the gravel. They're losing quite a bit of time. Yeah, and so I was curious too about how much fuel these guys are going to take in when they are in the pits, if they're going to just fill it all the way up, or if they take less than 100%, because if they take less than 100%, that tells me that they have a very specific strategy in mind already with when they're going to be pitting for the fuel, and you know, how many laps are going to go on each tire essentially.
Indeed, I think pretty much almost everybody, if not everyone, has actually taken full fuel on their pit stops. So Boita is going to be the driver who's going to be, actually I think Tallman might have went a bit earlier on his fuel load, I think, but I think Boita went on full fuel. He might have done a bit less, but he did pit in quite a bit earlier compared to everybody else. So these guys are still trying to give it their all here, and because I mean, obviously pace is one half of the battle, but strategy is that other very crucial half of the battle. It's honestly, it's equally as important as the race pace itself. I mean, you really can't have one without the other, really, if you want to be successful in any series, unless you do like Rallycross, where the races are usually like 8 laps long at most and they're really quick, but even then there's still strategy involved in those races as well. So strategy and pace pretty much go hand in hand here, and we're going to definitely see that here today.
Oh, penalty for illusion as well.
The man is trying to chase down Boita, who's on fresher soft tires, but that half-second penalty is not going to do him any favors here, B23.
No, not at all. So far, it seems like it was indeed an incredible strategy from Boita, coming in from last place up to 3rd place by the first corner, now into 1st place after a masterclass of a strategy is what it looks like so far. We're going to have to see, because while it looks like his tire choice was potentially genius, it also matters if his fuel will last long enough for him to actually get the benefit of the stint length that he can generate with the medium tire. So you might have to do some fuel saving with short shifting.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting one, right? Because you got, I mean, the medium tires are going to be more durable than the softs. That's like, there's no question about that. So pretty much for those of you who may be tuning in at right around the halfway point of this GPL250, if you guys are unaware of just how the tires work, maybe it's your first experience with any form of racing, first of all, we welcome you with open arms. So here's how the tires kind of work for those of you who may be unfamiliar. I mean, it may vary depending on language too, because I've seen some interesting ones from interesting streams from other countries, but in English, you'll see on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, you'll see kind of like a top-down graph of a car, and you'll see RM in this case. That stands for Racing Medium. So you typically want to run a Racing Soft, a Racing Medium, or a Racing Hard. Those are the 3 racing compound tires. There's also Sport and Comfort tires, which I don't even want to imagine those tires on this car, as we do have actually a bit of a scrap between MayJP and Dakadono. Now we'll go ahead and take another look at here real quick. So we'll come back to the tire talk here in a second, and this is the run down into turn 1. And Dakadono is going to get close, but no dice here this time. Jumping back to the tire discussion, as you can see here on MayJP's car, it is a Racing Soft, indicated by the RS. And then here's the difference between those, right? The soft tire is the fastest tire in the game, but granted, it's also super fragile. So it's really, like, in a lot of series, it can be used as a qualifying tire. It's very quick, but it doesn't really have good life expectancy. You have the Racing Hard compound tire, which is kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, which nobody is currently running here. It's a very durable tire, but it's not as grippy. And then you have the medium, which is kind of the in-between. So, in the case of Boita, that medium tire is going to go the distance. It's going to go further than the drivers running on that soft tire at the cost of grip. Which, I mean, as the race goes on, that soft tire is going to be about the same as the medium, as Illusion has another penalty he's got to serve.
And those are going to cost crucial as he's doing a race for a gap right now in a strategic battle of very different strategies between him and Boita, who is showing very strong pace as well. And Illusion and Boita's paces, respectively, are good enough to save them a pit stop to the rest of the field, save them potentially a large mistake to the rest of the field, as we saw Illusion have a big mistake. Oh, a yellow flag ahead. Oh, it's not Boita. I don't know who it is for.
That might be... I'll have to see. I think it might have been Tall Man, but I will double check. We'll see.
Okay, well, it wasn't Boita.
It was Tall Man. He went very deep. It actually got reset through Prima Variante.
Oh, okay. So perhaps that was because I saw a yellow flag into turn one just as Boita was going through it, and yet the gap is still what it is. But basically, I was just saying that they have afforded themselves a large gap to the rest of the field, but not to each other. They still have to keep it very clean, very precise. They haven't bought themselves the ability to just check out of this race yet. And we were kind of expecting Illusion to be able to run away with this, but he has some work to do, as it seems here. But the pace is looking good as the gap is coming down kind of slowly, but it is looking good as he is on the faster tire, but with more fuel weight. And he will have to pass some blue flag traffic here soon. Hopefully that doesn't cost him any time.
Indeed. Tall Man pretty much pulled right over and let him through, so that blue flag will get respected. If you see the blue flag, you have to let a faster car through. And as somebody who works at a K1, it is kind of surprising how many people you actually have to kind of overly explain that to. But these drivers, they know what they're doing. These are some of the best drivers in Gran Turismo, as these guys are absolutely trying to duke it out here. Ducadono trying to close in the gap to MayJP. MayJP on the quicker tire, but he's got more fuel, so it's a bit of a trade-off there. So we'll just kind of have to see how this
sector for Illusion.
Yeah, Illusion is getting pretty quick. He's now coming up to the back of Tall Man, which Tall Man...
he caught Tall Man in the worst spot he could possibly catch him to. Tall Man unable to get out of the way for him. And so Tall Man doing his best to get out of the way in between the Lesmos, but just literally unable to, as Illusion caught him in the apex of the first one.
Yeah, so I mean it's unfortunate,
that cost him
and I know
about a second.
And I know Tall Man, Tall Man is gonna do what he can to respect the blue flags, but like you said, it was just a very terrible spot for it. As now we still have the battle between MayJP and Ducadono for the final spot on the podium here, as these guys are trying to go ahead and just rip it around here, and they're gonna do everything humanly possible to go ahead and get this underway and try to get this done and dusted, try to get these positions. We're over halfway through the race right now. Right now it is Boita to Illusion to MayJP to Ducadono, Keminger, and Tall Man. And speaking of Keminger, I think he had a bit of a wide moment coming through the second Variante, which is not super uncommon, but I'm really enjoying this battle here between Ducadono and MayJP.
Oh yeah, definitely. And yeah, it does look like Ducadono does have some good pace here, as he is keeping it within a second, which is difficult in these cars, even though they don't have as much downforce, therefore not as affected by the dirty air. They still are very much affected by the dirty air. It is hard to follow, but Ducadono doing a pretty good job at staying close enough to just put the pressure on MayJP. MayJP doing a good job showing some poise, not to make any mistakes and hold his pace as he is. Oh, and the gap coming down quickly between Illusion and Boita as well. Now they are back under 3 seconds. Pace coming down quickly, as they are on very differing kind of mentalities at the moment. Where Boita is on a conserve the tires, conserve the fuel as much as possible. Illusion on the soft tire is burning his fuel as quickly as possible, it seems, so that he can have as little fuel as possible by the time his softs are no longer viable.
Yeah, once again, I mean, Boita's going to have to come into pit here pretty soon. He could probably get another 2 laps at the absolute most on this fuel load. His tires are good. Now, here's something we actually haven't really considered yet, B23, is Boita's in the spot where he could actually pit in for just fuel and not have to worry about new tires. So, I mean, he's still going to take a good amount of time in the pits because it does take a while to fuel these cars up, but that is an option that Boita has. Will he take that option, or will he jump onto a new set of tires? Remains to be seen.
You know, that is actually a very interesting point, because I do feel like he's kind of in a in-between no man's land with the state of those tires, because they're still good enough to run longer, is what it looks like to me from here. But at the same time, with the amount of fuel he's used, he didn't get the most out of those mediums. And if you want to switch the tires, that process takes about 4 seconds, maybe 4.5 seconds to just switch tires to a new set. So the gap right now, if you're not considering fuel, is about twice, like half of that, I should say. So that decision actually could be the difference in position.
100%.
It's really tempting, though. When you're already in the pits, usually you just take a new set of tires, because it's so hard not to. They're right there.
It'll be interesting. I think Boita is probably just going to grab some new tires as well, because like you said, you might as well. And it really only adds because pit stops on these cars are pretty quick when it comes to just taking the tires. So you could really, it only adds like maybe 2 seconds onto your time, maybe 3. But I mean, you can easily do that, and then at that point you'll be in a really good spot as well. So we'll see what he does. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting in terms of strategy. I mean, we also do know that Boita is really good on his tires, but honestly, I think at this grip level now, I mean, his tires are probably on par with the soft tires at this current state. I mean, Boita's tires look better than Illusion's, and he's been out for probably almost twice as long.
Definitely, and I'm just doing some quick math here to see. So he's on 16 lap old medium tires right now. He did 12 laps on the soft. He does come into the pits, of course, as he's out of fuel. So he has about 16 laps remaining too. That's about the stint length he did. So I'm expecting him to take another set of mediums to the end.
And sure enough, that is, well, we at least got the medium part of that strategy correct. We'll see about the fuel, as Major P and Decadona still trying to scrap it out here. And
if he takes a soft tire, he'd put himself in a bad position.
Yeah, I don't think he would. I mean, we've seen questionable strategies before, but Boita usually doesn't end up in those questionable strategy positions. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see when he comes out of the pits. I'm going to be really interested to see. And oh no, it's on the soft.
It is the soft tire. Interesting. So maybe he thinks that he can go, because we did say it did look early. Most of the other guys did go longer than he did on the soft tire. We know he's good on tires, so perhaps he can make the soft tire last significantly longer than he did on his first stint. So that's going to be the main question of this race. The gap now, 47 seconds to Illusion, who has decent tires and about a quarter of his fuel left, so he can go quite a bit longer on his fuel. And as we've seen, he was able to stay on those tires pretty reliably with minimal mistakes until he was able to burn his entire tank of fuel before coming into the pits. So I'm expecting him to be able to do that again here for his second stint before coming into the pits.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of have to see about that one. It is Lap 30 out of 44, so a little over 2/3 of the way through this GPL 250. The first one we have ever done here in the league. We have done 2 Super Formula 500s, and this is our first GPL 250. This might become a yearly tradition, but unlike the SF 500, the GPL 250, if it does become a yearly tradition, is going to have a rotating set of cars on obviously a rotating set of tracks. But up here is going to be an interesting one because you got Chemistry chasing down Ducadono, who's chasing down May JP. And I mean, these guys are all trying to fight for a position. It's a 3-way fight for the podium now. As it sits, May JP is being chased down by Ducadono here. The Dutch veteran putting on a lot of pressure.
To pick up the pieces too, if he can, you know, maintain some consistency. That was what happened, unfortunately, earlier. He was behind a battle ahead of him, made a mistake and couldn't capitalize and pick up the pieces, but it looks like he's in a great position now, once again showing really good pace as Chemistry to recover back to this position. We got our race leader Illusion in the pits now with 17% of his fuel left, so it looks like he's actually seeing an opportunity here where he can maximize his final stint. He's got the math kind of figured out in his head, it seems.
Indeed, yeah, Illusion coming into the pits now, gonna go ahead and he probably threw on another set of soft tires. Now watch him be the one to switch onto the mediums for his final stint, doing the exact opposite of Boita. That would be interesting. It would make things really exciting too in this race because his tires wouldn't be quick off the get-go, but they would gradually catch up to the pace, and nope, he's on another set of soft, so...
And only 83% of his fuel, too, so he does seem to have the math worked out in his head, because there's no other reason why, in my head, he would go from 12% to 83. Those seem like really precise kind of places to go from and to on his fuel levels.
Yeah,
and it does seem to have worked out, at least in that kind of offset pit window there, as now the gap is 8 seconds for Illusion. So very good strategy call for Illusion, but it's not over yet. Very interested to see what Boita can do now that his tires are already warmed up. Illusion has yet to do that.
Indeed, yeah, so...
2 more in the pits as well now. May JP opting to stay out for an additional lap compared to his nearest rivals. This is going to be a race out of the pits for these two.
We actually saw this earlier on where May JP did extend his stint by about a lap or two. I mean, he's in a good spot, good on fuel, so we'll just have to see. Tall Man now getting promoted up into 4th. But he's going to be pitting in this coming lap as well because he is on very, very low fuel. And Tall Man is going to make his way through the first chicane here. And May JP is going to go ahead and try to continue on, try to make it to the end. He can probably actually extend the stint by quite a bit here, so which it's going to kind of bite him initially, but it's going to get sweeter as it goes on because he'll be on better tires, and that's a snap to his scarf for May JP.
Well, that's scary, yeah. Ascari chicane is one of those places where I saw a lot of guys when I was watching them practice. They get caught out. You get really confident when you get in a nice rhythm. And Ascari is one of the nicest, most flowiest chicanes that you can take at really high speed too. And when you hit it just right, it gives you so much confidence. But as the tires degrade, you can't quite hit it the same way. And you're tempted to use a lot of the curb because it's a pretty flat curb. You can put a lot of your car onto it, but as the tires wear, it gets more and more slippery. So the risk factor just increases more and more, and we saw a very nice save there because that could have been way worse for May JP.
Yeah, we'll just kind of have to see here because once again, strategy is always such a deciding factor in these races. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Tall Man's now into the pits. He was
3% fuel for him.
Yeah, 3% fuel. Only driver who is yet to pit at this stage is May JP. Everybody else has made the pit stop.
Like if we looked at the likes of Illusion, Boita, Tall Man here as well, with his tires and his fuel both all the way down, May JP kind of in the opposite situation where his fuel is still pretty high, but his tires don't look like they're doing too well. And so perhaps he's kind of out of sync with his strategy as far as the fuel and tires being lined up for this particular stint at least, but he can probably get that back in order when he pits again.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be interesting to see what he does here. He's going to go for another lap, so he'll go on to lap 33 of his race on this same set. And I mean, I'm curious though, because I'm not too sure. Somebody has went off ahead.
Yeah, I saw yellow flag
Tall
flash.
Man. Yeah, that's Tall Man through Prima Variante again.
Oh, and see, it's those cold tires once more. We see catching people out. We saw big snaps earlier. I think it was from Boita when he came out of the pits with those cold mediums. And Tall Man there as well now. It's really hard to predict how the car is going to slow into that very first corner when you're coming out of the pits, because you're not carrying the same amount of speed that you normally carry into that braking zone lap after lap after lap, and the tires feel completely different. They're not worn anymore, they're brand new, but they're so cold, they're basically ice cubes. The surface is smooth as well when they're cold, so it actually is a little easier to lock up and go wide into the first corner than it would be on nice warmed up but worn tires.
And Tall Man does get a penalty as May JP is fishtailing all through the back of Ascari. And we are seeing these drivers
getting out of the way of Boita as well.
We're seeing these guys absolutely just fight this car. I mean, yeah, here's the issue with May JP at the moment is that he is on burnt up tires. He's going to go again. So he's trying to get the most out of the fuel. I wonder if he's going to try to take this to the end. Because that strategy could work. But yeah, like you said, it's risky. And honestly, it only could work. Is it likely going to work? I don't think so. I think that he's just going to lose so much time. He's going to lose so much time on that tire, because that tire is basically flame broiled like a Burger King Whopper.
Yeah, and I mean, the gap is 42 seconds, but he's going to be limping the rest of the way through. I mean, because we saw these drivers start to struggle on the tire just before they reached the halfway point of the wear on their little meter there and the bottom left of the screen. But really consistent pace still from May JP as we're seeing him in the mid-26s lap after lap after lap, which is actually a pretty strong pace as of now. Perhaps even, because sometimes, it doesn't happen all the time in Gran Turismo, but there are occasionally times where a tire will kind of find a second life, and perhaps like a graining phase it goes through, and then it finds some more grip, because it's not too often. Usually when they get bad, and it just is what it is. But sometimes I have noticed, I randomly feel comfortable again on a really beat up tire, and it looks like May JP might just be doing that because his pace is actually increasing. His weight is also decreasing as well, which can help that as well. Yeah, although actually, he did set a slower lap there.
Illusion actually setting a purple sector, so Illusion's got those soft tires fired up now, and he's got the lightest fuel load he's had here on a new set of tires, but now he's slower through that second sector, so he had a lightning quick sector 1. Sector 2, not so much, but I mean, with about 10 laps to go here in Monza, it's going to be difficult to really try to keep these tires in, but I think Illusion might have won this strategy battle here, but I mean, anything can happen in racing. We have seen some crazy things before. I mean, just look at the last season, right? I mean, Season 6 had some pretty surprise moments. I mean, I think almost every single team in that season at some point was on the podium. So, I mean, and I think that was in both categories, I think, as well. So, maybe like 1 or 2 teams did not touch the podium all season in both categories. So,
yeah, I mean, it's a testament to how good everyone is, because you have to be good enough to, be within a chance. To have a chance, you got to give yourself a chance, and to give yourself a chance among these drivers is a testament.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm actually gonna take a look at just gonna take a look at something real quick. I think I think there's really only
May
one
JP
team.
in the pits now.
Oh yeah, so he's called it on those tires. So we'll see what this drops
Yeah.
him. Because he's not gonna get to the end of that fuel load, certainly. So he won't take as much fuel as like everybody else has. He'll probably get to about probably a little over half, I would say. But yeah, right at half.
You called it exactly at half.
He's still got a very good gap though to Ducadono and the rest behind. So I think it's really just about bringing this home for pretty much everybody on track right now.
Well, and he does come out of the pits with a comfortable gap still, so it didn't cost him anything to run that little gamble of a strategy he was running, and it does look like he could just... Oh, okay, now the gap has actually updated, so it cut itself in half, but it's still a very comfortable gap at over 20 seconds. It looks like he could just... Oh, and as he's actually in the gravel, but still just drive very cautiously, you know, don't push it, leave yourself a good amount of margin. And you can coast your way to a podium here. Is May JP in a very good position. This gap here has stabilized between Boita and Illusion, but it did look like Boita was on the hunt there for a while. Illusion's tires right now in their prime, and he is kind of just actually increasing the gap a little bit now. So, as you say, the strategy battle, I do believe, was won by Illusion, because this is an extremely close battle on paper otherwise. Their timings are just about similar, and I do think that Boita had the better pit intervals, but I believe it was that choice to go to the medium tire that accounts for the gap that we're seeing right now in the pace that now sits at around 7 seconds. Over a whole stint of 16 laps on a medium tire, 7 seconds sounds about right to me about how much time you would lose.
Indeed, and actually here's something that we're going to go ahead and do. Myself and B23 are going to go ahead and step away. We're going to go ahead and do it onboard lap with, let's go ahead and do the next, so we'll wait a lap and then we'll do an onboard lap with Illusion, and we'll let you guys just hear how beautiful these cars sound for a lap. But in the meantime, I mean, Illusion is still setting purples.
Yeah, it's a good time to do it as well, and these engines sound amazing, so it's gonna be good. Oh, and I also really like these cars have a really cool the helmet cam, the side little helmet cam coming off the side of the thing. That's a unique camera angle, and that's really nice.
Indeed, yeah. So with the next lap of Illusion, two of us are going to step away. Go ahead and get hydrated. And remember, if you guys want some good hydration products, go ahead and check out w.gg. Use promo code GPL at checkout to get a 10% discount on all of your orders. And you'll be able to support the league, and we can do some really cool stuff. And now, time for our awesome onboard lap with Illusion. We'll be back. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed that onboard lap with Illusion. just allowing you guys to hear those mighty V12 engines roaring through the Italian countryside as these guys begin the final 5 laps of the GPL250. Illusion has been in control ever since his second stint. Boita had a pretty good call on strategy, but it just unfortunately just wasn't meant to be at this stage. But still 5 laps, still all to play for here. Major P rounding out the podium, Ducadono in 4th, Kimisher in 5th, and Tallman bringing up the grid in P6. And it's been a fantastic race here today. Strategy was a big factor in today's event.
Yeah.
And then also you gotta just think about just how tricky these cars are. In the commentary booth, It is myself, Patrick Coleman, AK Rekus, and B23. And with 5 laps to go, I mean,
more purple sectors from Illusion. And two, you gotta be happy with yourself even if it stays like this for Boita. And I mean, it's not over yet. Even with 4 laps remaining, mistakes can be made, as we know the nature of these cars. I mean, we're not expecting a mistake at this stage because these guys have been very impressive as far as not making mistakes. I'm actually really impressed. I was expecting way worse than what we've seen today, to be honest. So but it's not over yet until they cross that line. Only 7 seconds, 8 seconds, you know, that's within the margin of error if a mistake is made. So they still got to cross the line, but it is looking like it is a victory for Illusion, and Boita can be very happy with himself for making it a battle for the win on strategy, starting from last place, putting himself in contention, but picking up a track limit just as I praise him, of course. Commentary curse. Never ceases to succeed. But the Brazilian driver doing an excellent job, and it did seem like there were some indications in the chat I briefly saw in our league Discord server that this, as he picks up another track limit penalty, really pushing that car as I'm watching him, unfortunately, but it did seem like there was an indication that this may be a retirement race of sorts for him. Coming back, bringing back the piss Porsche, as he called it, and it's a very nice looking livery, I might say. So I do hope that he makes a return. I hope it's not a retirement race, but if it is indeed a retirement race, and this is the last we're seeing of Nicholas Boita, he has been one of the original racers as far as I can remember, and you know, essentially a legendary driver for this league. And both the Brazilian Boita brothers have been excellent throughout their time in this league, and we do hope to see them again, as oftentimes as drivers retire, it's not necessarily the last that we see of them. So if that does indeed be the case, that yeah, we hope to see him either way sometime on track in the future here in GPL.
Indeed, and we have seen that more often than not when it comes to like a retirement. Like when you're retiring from a series, it's, especially in GPL, we've seen that it's almost never a goodbye. It's more of a see you later kind of thing. I mean, Whiteout has been, I mean, he was absent last season, and he's looking to make a comeback this season. So,
right.
And also sometimes
with King
it's just,
as well, who is a resident of the retirement home for a long time.
Yeah, so sometimes it's like a temporary retirement, other times it's more of like a sabbatical. Because sometimes drivers just do take those sabbaticals. They take a season out and then they jump back in, which does kind of help avoid burnout. Because if you're burned out, then you're not going to perform at your best, and that's not a sim racing exclusive thing. That's anything really, whether you're working on a project. I mean, it doesn't matter really what you're working on. It could be a project, it could be work, it could be school, it could be sim racing, it could be literally anything. If you get burned out, then you're not having fun, and your performances will kind of fall as a bit of a result from that. So
yeah, and despite it being a video game, and it is fun, and we do have a great time playing our favorite video games at such a high level, but at the end of the day, it is a very realistic racing simulator, and it does take a toll on you, and especially if you're on wheel 2, it is actually pretty physically demanding, some of these tracks, with the force feedback and having to stay consistent with the pedal work and everything. And it is mentally draining over the course of a season, especially when you're fighting for meaningful races and a championship. And so sometimes it is good to step away for a while. I think it is actually quite a good thing that GPL has pretty long off seasons too to let people regenerate. Those who want to continue racing, there's other series they can branch off into as well, so it's not so one-dimensional for them. They can still get race experience and have fun, but rest their brain in that sense as well.
Yeah, that's something that Tallman has been doing here in recent times too. I mean, he's been competing in a handful of different series as well, just to kind of keep his mind sharp and keep his skills sharp, but also not get fully stressed into a regular season. As we're about to begin the final lap of the race here for Illusion. He will take her on the final tour of this GPL250. He will soon complete the final few miles on the track. He does
Tall Man
have
once more.
He has Tall Man up ahead, but Tall Man will likely get out of the way coming through Curva Grande, and that he does. He just pulls off to the side, lets Illusion through, no drama there, and he's gonna get his final tour in. He won the SF500, and he hasn't had the greatest of time in the LMP1 cars, failing to pick up even a single win in that season. But now he's going to go in and make his way through the last couple of corners, and Illusion, the Norwegian driver from Exodus Motorsports, will soon return to the top step of the podium for the first time in several months here at the Grand Prestige League. He's just got to make it through a handful of corners now. He's got only about 2 sets of corners to go. He's got to make it through Ascari, and then he's got to make it through the famous Parabolica. He won the SF500, and he got close. He was a runner-up in both the LMP Masters and Super Formula Season number 6. But this time, he won't be denied. Nicholas Boita threw everything at him, including a different strategy. And Illusion wins the GPL 250 in the F3500. And what could be Boita's last, yeah, exactly. What could be Boita's last race? He comes across the line in P2, and then May JP will go ahead and begin his final lap, and he will be pretty much
out of the pits as well. He went into the pits on the last lap of the race, so you know he didn't quite have it timed out properly, and that is as you could imagine, the very worst time that you want to have to take a pit stop is on the final lap of the race. But it doesn't seem to have cost him, as literally every other car being a lap down off of the lead lap of this race has already crossed the finish line to end their race. Because as a lapped car, your final lap is the same as when the leader's final lap is, even if you're down laps. That is why they have already finished. May JP is the only car running on track, and it was a great race from him as well to maintain a very comfortable P3. Even though he kind of mismanaged the strategy a little bit, his pace and consistency made up for that.
Indeed, and that's why he is one of the top prospects going into this next season of the Grand Prestige League. And now he's coming up to the last corner as well. He's coming up to the famous Parabolica. He's going to make it to the sweeping right-hander, and he will get his second podium in GPL. He got one last time, his second podium in a row as well. So he's going to come across the line. Major P will come home in P3. And he will round out the race here today. And your winner, for the first time in a few months, Illusion wins the GPL 250. And what a race it was from him. And we're going to run through the results here really quickly. Illusion pretty much got the grand slam here. Fastest lap, pole position, and the race victory. He was just missing the leading every lap to make it a super grand slam. But here are the rest of the results. Boita P2, May JP rounding out the podium, Darkadono in P4, Chemizure P5, and Tallman P6. And that is going to be the end of today's event at B23. Any final words?
Oh yeah, definitely. This will be the last time that we see you guys until the beginning of the next Super Formula season, which is our feature series where we will be doing open qualifying. So make sure everybody who's here right now has subscribed to this YouTube channel so you don't miss any of that. Also, give us a follow on Instagram at Grand Prestige League. We'll be putting out some information ahead of time, letting you guys know what to expect and where to go so that you can watch all of the action. There's going to be a lot of change-ups happening as far as lineups and stuff, a lot of exciting developments behind the scenes right now. So you're not going to want to miss it. The EXO lineup is pretty much wide open, won't be determined until around the open qualifying period. There's new teams joining, returning drivers, returning champions joining, and it's going to be wide open as far as the championship in the top tier. So you're not going to want to miss any of that. Give us a follow at Grand Prestige League, subscribe here, and that is all from me. This was an excellent race today.
And we do have some bittersweet news. This was indeed Nicholas Boita's final race in the Grand Prestige League as of right now. So I haven't seen him a whole lot. I've only been around since about season 6. But all the racing I've seen from Nicholas Boita, it has been a pleasure. Been a real master of tire management. And we're sad to see you go. Hopefully we'll see you again at some point. But it's been a pleasure watching you for the last season or so, Boita. Congratulations, you've earned the retirement, man. But that's going to be it here in the Grand Prestige League. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, B23 alongside me. And be sure to go ahead and use promo code GPL at w.gg at your next checkout so you can get a 10% discount and support the league. And for everybody, this will actually be our last broadcast of 2025. Have a happy holiday if you guys are traveling this holiday season. Hopefully you guys have very safe travels and have a happy new year, and we'll see you guys on the track in season 7. Have a good night.